I'm real pumped. I got new office attire. I've got like this shirt. I got this from TJ Maxx. This like pink salmon colored skull pineapple shirt. It's fucking great. Whatever. I just described. I hope people are picturing the weirdest shirt in the world right now.
It's what
pink
you're picturing.
Salmon skull pineapple shirt. But
the skulls are over
really
the nipples.
We
just
need
so
a
everybody
visual
knows.
component to this.
There's two skulls over each nipple.
It's an all over print. Anyway, so it looks like something out of Roadhouse, actually.
Honestly, it kind of does look like something Jake Gyllenhaal would wear.
It does, yeah. I'm Roadhousing it today. But so then this girl comes up, like I'm up front, and I'm like, one of the guy who's checking me out. I'm like, oh, cool, yeah. You said you're new here. How long you been here? Cool. How's that been? How do you like it? And like, people are so awkward when you just start talking to them about shit until they realize that like you're just talking.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking to tell them anything. I'm just asking people questions. Then like some girl from the other register jumps in, and I'm like, oh, we're doing a team effort today. All right, cool, rock on. I respect this. Yeah, I had a big order. Yeah, a lot of hits today. A lot of hits. This girl came up. She's like, did you find everything that you wanted? How many items did you? I was like, look at it. I now have a spectacle at the front of TJ Maxx because I'm just elated that they aren't like every other stupid fucking box store.
You know what I love about this entire story?
What?
Is you went from being so heated and mad about everything.
I was disappointed. I was proper parent disappointed in these stores.
The entire time you're telling this story, you just feel the hatred behind your voice, and then you're like, and I was at TJ Maxx, and it was great, and I'm just having a great time. It's just like the most all the way.
I got this coffee mug, and look at it. It's beautiful. It's got gold inlay.
Yeah, more visuals for a podcast. This is great.
Flowers on it.
More visuals.
I got all this stuff.
More visuals for an audio format.
Hold on. You know what? That's the whole episode. I'm going to go get the clothes. We're going to try them on. We're going to do Let's Try On with me, but instead of doing a YouTube video, it's just a podcast of me describing my TJ Maxx haul.
Start the music, please. You have the music. You do it.
No, you got the music. You do it.
Oh, okay. Here, I started it.
All right. Oh, no, Odie, that's not the music.
Yes, it is. It's a new theme.
Hold on. No, it's not. No, I'm shutting it down. All right, here's the theme music. Odie, you'll get it right one of these days.
Maybe. I don't know.
TJ Maxx Hall. Here we go, the episode. You ready to clap?
I'm ready to clap.
Let's clap. 3, 2, 1. On time, every time. Welcome back to another episode of the Unpop Podcast. I am your Capitan, Kevin Miner. Todo siempre. He, him, with me as always.
Odie Matthews, the chef, cooking up content, they, them.
Wow. It's in a strained order. What is this, like an extra thick pea soup this week? You're stirring a pot full of thick stuff? Odie Matthews.
I just had a mini...
Chef. They, them.
I had a mini panic attack because for a minute I thought that the audio device that was recording was through my headphones and not my awesome expensive mic that I spent money on.
Yeah,
and that would have
that everybody could hear you talking like you're in an airport bathroom.
Yeah, that's what it would have sounded like. And that would have been
Even though
great.
you're in a closet.
No, I'm in a recording closet. Just so happens to be a normal closet that I've turned into something else.
I'm just picturing like a nameplate outside of it that says closet, and then like you've put tape over it and it says recording closet. like you put recording next to closet, right? Just wrote it in Sharpie. Recording closet. It's fancier now.
In order to soundproof it, there's all of our spare pillows are on the floor, and all of my hoodies are hanging up in front of me, so it soundproofs it very nicely.
That is nice.
That's home improvement.
Luckily, I don't know why, but this room is just like, it's like just the right size and diameter that it is soundproofed. Like I didn't have to put anything extra up.
Well, your mic's
also by your head. And as I put more stuff up, it's even better. Well, it's by my head, but then also like, and I got the pop screen, right? I got the little foam pop screen. And then, yeah, but this room is like, it's better than any other room I've recorded in. It played out in our favor. What are we talking about this week, Odie, my favorite they, them, who I sometimes call he on accident? I'm trying. Here's the thing. I'm I'm progressive and I'm trying. and I'm imperfect about it. Actually, here's a funny story. No. Never mind.
Here's what we're talking about this week. I'm going to stop you. Vito.
I just retracted my own story immediately. It was like, no, not now.
Not this time. So I went to a convention for my job with my
No, here's what we're talking about this week. I'm going to get my TJ Maxx haul.
Get back here. I went to a convention with my CEO and my director of sales and revenue. Two great people. And at this convention, there was a guest speaker, and I kind of want to touch on the topic that he talked about. And then,
what was this guest speaker's name? Call him out. Shots fired on this podcast. Let's do it.
I'm not going to give out his name because
I know it's a professional thing. You can't. That would be rude.
It would be not only rude, but I also, because this guy made me so mad with what he was talking about, I don't want to give him any recognition.
Does he work for the same company?
No, he was a guest speaker that the company that was putting on the event flew in.
What the fuck is up with like the quality of keynote speakers going down?
They really
It's like,
suck.
like people are just hiring these keynote speakers. I swear to God,
Anybody.
It's definitely directly related to social media. It's people who are like pitching themselves as keynote speakers who are just, and they're all saying the same fucking things.
Oh, I can't wait to tell you what this guy
these
said.
companies are all right. Hit me with it, because I've been paid. It's a thing. Like it's a whole market. There's people who literally just market themselves as like coach speakers.
Yeah,
and it's like, and then you hear them speak, and you're like, this is not worth more than
logic.
like $50.
It's literally just common sense half the time.
Yeah, they're basically like regurgitating like a motivational Instagram video. Like what the fuck? Like what value are you actually bringing? You're just parroting a thing that I heard on Joe Rogan or fucking some NFL coach or fucking I don't know like a UFC commentator or another influencer or like they're just parroting the thing. It's just like a hall of mirrors of people attempting to do this. Anyway,
I'm going to be
okay. So this guy's speaking and he pisses you off. How did he piss you off and where did it hurt you? Show me on the doll.
Show me on the doll. Don't do that. I want to talk about that, but then real quick, the other thing that we're going to talk about after that is I saw a movie that is really fun and worth talking about. And I think
didn't see a movie. You saw a collab.
I did.
That's how you announce collabs.
I saw the collab.
When I first saw the title of this movie, I was like, they're doing a collab?
They really are.
Godzilla X Kong is like, I would love if the plot of that movie was just them like launching a clothing brand together. Like just
it's not far
Godzilla
off.
X Kong. We're doing Doritos next. I don't know why I'm so obsessed.
Why are
with
you
Doritos
obsessed with this
this
Doritos
season.
thing?
I don't know.
Doritos looked those tacos last week.
All right, tell me about this shitty speaker.
Okay, so yeah,
keynote speaker in quotes.
Okay, so
I'd be a keynote speaker.
Honestly, we should be keynote.
I would probably be a better keynote speaker than half these people.
We should be
because I would come out, but I would have to. You know what I would have to do is I would have to rein in my ADD.
I was gonna say we should be keynote speakers, and the entire time, every slide is just like one of those really shitty like boomer motivational posts where it's like if you're if you're struggling, and then you click the thing and it's like a cat hanging onto a branch, just be like, hang in there, it'll get better.
Yeah,
like just every single slide is like that.
Your success is up to you.
Yeah.
What time are you waking up? Are you grinding? We're still in grind set mode. I know that those were the popular words from 10 years ago, but we picked them up from the younger generation. Even though they're complaining about burnout now, we're going to preach it to you.
You like reboots and sequels? Well, we're bringing back these words. Grind, hustle.
Anyways.
Grind,
so hustle.
For a little bit of context.
Give it your all.
The
consistency, dedication.
The convention that this guy is speaking at, for a little bit of context, is home like air conditioners and furnace and like
HVAC.
boilers. Yeah, it's HVAC. Right? So this guy is speaking at an HVAC convention.
Yeah.
Because I'm in marketing, so and
for an HVAC company.
Yep. And his whole topic was about AI. Right? Now, here's the thing. I want to say this up front, very clear. I don't think that AI across the board is inherently a bad thing. Where my problem with AI comes in is in the artistic realm. And that's what I want to talk about. But before I get to that, I just also want to say that there are some really good implications of AI in the workforce in general. Like if you ever go to a website and you see like the little chat thing pop up and you ask a question and it immediately answers, that's an AI chatbot that is using information provided by the company to answer your question, right? So it's
before we go any further, Can I just insert a little bit? We need to stop calling it AI.
Well, that's what this guy said over 30 times.
I know.
Literally,
We're
I
all
counted.
wrong, and we need to pump the fucking brakes hard now because it's not AI. It's not artificially intelligent. It is manually intelligent based on the language that is input into the database that then runs the system, right?
It's a program.
It is a large language model. And I know that that's not as sexy and it doesn't sound as good, but we're just walking around calling this shit AI, and what's going to happen is when we actually do have artificial intelligence, that's going to be the first thing it's pissed off about. It's going to be like, you thought I was that? That's basically like
you?
us. That's like us pointing at like the caveman and being like, ah, yes, societal man, as he existed in his complex form. Like, no, it's not the same thing. It's a very different system. It needs to evolve. We don't have artificial intelligence yet. None of the shit that you're interacting with is artificially intelligent. It is manually adapted into a form of believable intelligence. Okay, continue.
Fair enough. So that's the point I just want to make, is that there are some.
So this guy's talking about large language models. He's calling them AI.
Yeah.
He's wrong off the bat.
We're going to call it AI for the sake of it not being a mouthful.
Because everyone else is calling it AI. I get it. Tyranny of the people, whatever.
We got to have those keywords so the algorithm picks up on
If we're going to be wrong, we got to be wrong together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, did you say the algorithm?
the algorithm has to pick up the AI words. But yeah, so I do think that there are some ways when it's done like this. Again, you know, a chatbot on your site that is taking information you give it to answer questions quickly for your consumers and customers and things like that. That's fine. That's not the problem that I had with this whole speech thing. He continues and does examples of how to improve. Because, okay, let me back up. Sorry. His whole point with the AI thing is that he said, AI is the future. You're being left behind if you're not using AI. AI is there to help you, and everybody that owns a business should be utilizing the benefits of AI, right? That was his whole, like, that's where all this is structured around. Then he moves into AI art. Now, I want to say this very clearly.
Wait, let's say it at the same time.
Oh, God.
Let's say, how do you feel about AI art on 3? 1, 2, 3.
The worst.
Fuck AI art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I toned my answer
Fuck
down.
that shit.
I want to say this very clearly and very loudly. Anybody that uses AI art or AI editing,
the Wonka spirit.
We're
looking at you, Wonka.
Anybody that
Scottish
God
Wonka.
damn it, right? Oh shit. But anybody that uses AI art, an AI art software, anybody that uses an AI editing software, an AI video software, anything of the sense that is in the creative sphere where something is created off of an example you give it, fuck you. And here's why. For those of you that don't know, and here's the ironic
Hard stance
part.
right now. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. I don't care. Here's the funniest.
This is the first time we've ever come at like
We're coming
a
at
group of people hard at on the podcast. We're just like AI users for art and creativity. Fuck you.
I'm still mad. I'm still mad. But okay, so
it's also the most we've said fuck you.
Yeah,
on
it is.
the podcast. It's the most we've sworn.
Well, I don't fucking care. Today's the day.
Today's a fuck box stores. Fuck the outlets. Fuck AI users.
Fuck the speaker.
All right, wow.
Fuck the villains in Godzilla X Kong.
Welcome to the swearing episode.
Okay, so
I'm gonna go back through and count these, and we're gonna do a swear jar.
Okay.
All right, cool. Let's do it, because I don't like to swear that much, but I agree with swearing on these
swearing.
things. I don't. I had a great grandparent that was like, "There's so many better words you could use," and I was like, "That's actually a valid point. Like, I should be striving to be more flexible with my language and less constricted." And I feel like if you swear a lot, I don't think it makes you less of a person. I don't really judge people for it, but like, it is inhibiting your expressive-ness.
I like to swear when I'm making jokes. But anyways.
All right, so
okay, yeah. So
AI art users, fuck them. Keep going.
Now, what is ironic about this speaker and
I've used AI art. Have you used it?
No, of course fucking not.
I have. Well, because I've plugged some shit in and like seen what it does.
Oh,
right?
well, I mean,
I've
like
done it.
I've
like
tried
not
the
used
softwares.
it like used it to do anything, but I've used it like I've like played around with the software, and some of it when it first came out and people were like creating like these weird galaxies and like these like pictures I had never seen. I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then like I started reading up on AI art and I was like, oh, this is really bad.
Yeah.
Like we should probably, but Pandora's box is open anyway.
I've tested the video ones. There's a lot of them out there that will take like long format videos and use AI editing to like shorten them into like little clips for like TikTok and stuff.
Yeah.
They're so obvious and they're so bad. Actually, my former employer
so bad.
that I can't name is doing that, and their videos are doing terrible, and I think it's really funny. But anyways, okay.
Yeah, because we recognize it.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's easy to tell.
Yeah.
But okay, so what's ironic about this speaker saying, hey, like, use AI art for all this stuff, is earlier in his speech, or whatever you want to call it, he references an article by Forbes about AI. Here's the thing. If you go,
what year was the article published? Do you know?
2022.
Okay.
Because and I know that because if you go to the Forbes article, I'm pretty sure it's 2022. Don't quote me on that. But if you go to the Forbes article that he's referencing, and I don't remember what the name of it was, but I looked it up during the speech because I didn't care. I was on my phone, and you go to it. You know how like at the bottom of like websites that are mainly articles, there'll be like related articles below it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ones that's related underneath it is the article that I reference when I talk about AI art, and it's an article from Forbes talking about the dangers of AI art and how it is stealing from artists. So here's the thing.
Oh, so he took the context he wanted from it.
Well, he read
and then presented that.
He took a different article that talks about how AI in the areas that I just mentioned, like using a chat bot on your website and using like Chat GPT if you wanted to like reword some stuff, that those, you know, there's a lot of beneficence there, but then the same author of that article links their article below that about why using AI art, which is a separate category from what they're. Anyways, so why? Okay, for those of you that don't know, and I'll make this quick. What AI art is doing, no matter what the software is, it is not creating something from nothing. It is taking inspiration from art that is publicly online, whether it is copyrighted, licensed, or owned, or a property by somebody else. It is taking quote-unquote inspiration from those to then create the AI art that it is generating. Now, here's the thing. You can make the argument that it is plagiarism, and it is to an extent, but what the more important thing to realize about this is that it's not AI art cannot create without something to reference, and somebody has to create that reference point. So by doing that,
it's taking a skill that someone has cultivated over the course of their entire life, and in the state that we currently exist in, possibly gone into great debt to cultivate. Right?
And on top of that,
and then just taking it and going, yeah, that's mine now. Yeah. Like, I know that you paid a ton of money for this and we're never going to pay back your student loans, but that's mine now. I own that motif.
And here's the thing that's fun, that why it bothers me so much is, for one, that artist probably is going to either lose money, credibility, exposure, their property. And I'm sure there's people maybe not listening to this because our listeners are awesome that are like, well, that's just not true. The example that this guy did, right? He took a photo from a website of 3 people around a table, showed how he plugged it into the software, and basically what the software did is it changed the way the people look and it changed the background. And this guy said, you can't even tell the difference. And here's the thing. I would say people that maybe aren't that artistic and maybe don't look at detail that much, sure, maybe they won't tell. But for anybody that's looked at a photo of a normal human being and knows what a normal human being looks like, or has looked at artwork of any kind and knows what it looks like, if you look at AI art, it is so easy to tell if it's AR because you can see it in the eyes of the humans, under the eyes in the humans. Like the photo he showed, this dude had like 30 wrinkles. And he was like, look, it looks just the same. It's like, what guy do you know that's 30 that has 30 wrinkles under his eyes? Yeah, the background's always going to be distorted. The faces will never look right.
The background ends up having like this, there's almost like a gloss over it that you're like, that's not real.
Like hazy.
Like,
It's weird.
Yeah.
And so my whole point with this is, I think it's really funny that this guy who is, I think he was like in his 30s because he was named apparently like a 40 under 40 person or whatever. which
is
cool.
Happens so often now that it's like losing its merit.
Definitely has.
That's
like Time
going,
Person of the Year.
I got shit to touch on now that you've opened up boxes that I have thoughts on in this podcast.
So the thing why it's so funny to me that this speaker comes in and starts preaching all this stuff is because the people in the audience, and no shame, but they were all a little bit older. I was probably on the younger side of the people at this convention. They're all 40, 50, 60-year-old, business owners, typically a lot of them white men. It's just the industry kind of thing. And of course, they're going to look at that and go to those sites and create this AI art and he even did one for video editing, which as a video editor, that really pissed me off. I've never, and I think I texted this to you when I was in the convention, when he got done with his example of showing what AI art can do for people, he then started doing the video one, and then he was like, in the future, if you're lucky, AI can replace your entire marketing department. And that's the moment when I got up and I walked out of the convention, because not only...
because you're the marketing department.
This guy mentioned multiple times throughout his speech that AI can replace the people that manage the phones, can replace the people that do customer support, can replace your marketing department. He basically is like, hey, just let AI take regular people's jobs and do it worse so you can save money. It's just, it's so scummy and shitty and terrible. And that was all my thoughts on it. I just wanted to kind of get that out there, because we live in an age where AI is becoming more popular. It's not as good as you think. I guarantee you, if you go to a video editing AI software or an art creation AI software, it is not going to be as good as you think, and people are going to notice, and people are going to make fun of you, and I will be one of them making fun of you.
Can I flex my critical thinking muscles now?
Absolutely.
Is that okay?
And then can we talk about a giant monkey and a lizard fighting?
Yes, we can. You've brought a topic into my octagon.
Yes,
my mental octagon. You've brought a topic in here.
Wait, time out real quick. Do you remember the scene in Roadhouse? This has been living in my head rent free. When they're on the speedboat and Conor McGregor's like, "Looky here, our own little octagon," and Jay Gyllenhaal's like,
"You don't know shapes."
He's like, "Who taught you shapes?"
Yeah. We got our own little octagon. What I love about that is the surreality of an actual MMA fighter saying that, and then an actor just responding, "You don't understand shapes."
So great.
But
anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So that was a meta moment and a good in movie moment.
So good.
Very self-aware. Okay. First off, this is what I'm going to say. We are now dealing with the fallout from the tech bro era, right? We've given enough credence to tech bros that they have now infiltrated every fucking possible realm, right? And here's the worst part: it's very gullible people who are a little bit older than us who are booking these events and booking these people, and they're coming in and they don't care. They're preaching a thing that if you got down to it and you actually asked them about the ethics on what they're speaking, right? We're talking ethics. So we're talking right versus right. That's what ethics is. There's a right answer and there's a right answer, and they both fall into two different philosophical categories. And this is what people don't get about ethics. Many people don't understand about ethics, is that it's not right versus wrong. It's right versus right. There is a side, an argument to be made for AI and efficiency's sake, and then there's a side to be made for, hey, humans and jobs and things like that. First off, fuck those guys that are going out and saying AI can replace your workforce, because it cannot.
No.
Because you have a new workforce. Because it's not fucking AI. It's a large language model. And there are people that you are going to be paying to design your large language model. Not only that, there are inherent problems with these. They are improving at a rapid rate. They're improving because we're like, as a culture, as a business culture, and as like a society, we're investing money into them now, right? And some of the biggest businesses, Microsoft, Google, right? They're getting into generative AI. I've been listening to a lot of this with Kevin Roos and I forget the other guy's name from Hard Fork. I love Hard Fork. And they do a very good job of objectively presenting what's happening in AI, and they report on it all the time. But So you have these companies that are investing a ton of money, but that's your new workforce. There are people who are doing that. And not only that, AI is opening up new job opportunities for AI prompters, and it's going to be government regulated. So we're going to need people who are actually experts in this in the future to troubleshoot all of the shit that goes wrong with AI. What are some of the things that have gone wrong? Well, we found that it will give you misinformation if it's prompted correctly, right? If it's prompted correctly in the right way, and then you follow that rabbit hole, it can radicalize itself in its own speech because it's not artificially intelligent.
Have you seen?
It doesn't have critical thinking abilities. Hold on.
Sorry.
It doesn't have critical thinking abilities. And this is why in the beginning I made sure to say this. We are mislabeling a thing. And the reason I get so heated about this is it's not intelligent. And so to call something intelligent that doesn't actually have functional intelligence is a huge misnomer, because there are so many people, so fucking many people that will hear AI and know the term artificial intelligence and give it more credence than it's due, right? This already happens with news, media, organizations that are respected, right? Or disrespected, depending on your political alignment in this country at this point. But the same exact thing is going to happen with AI. It's going to be like, well, I prompted the AI and it eventually led me down this rabbit hole, and now I know that aliens are fucking real and that race theory is real and all this other shit because I prompted the AI. And it's AI, it's artificially intelligent. What are you going to argue against it? And like, I can already hear the future of discourse being degraded by this process, because instead of calling them what they are, which are large language models, which have already had to be corrected on multiple accounts, right? And they've already been proven to give people misinformation on multiple accounts. We're giving it more credence than it's due. What were you going to say?
Oh, well, you mentioned you can prompt it to tell you whatever you want. Did you see, this was a while back, but there was a video where a guy was using a AI chat software where, like, you know, type a prompt and it'll make a thing for you, and it was literally like list 5 or list 10 reasons of why Hitler was actually a good guy, and it was literally like making shit up, and like that's insane.
Well, that guy was actually just chatting with Ben Shapiro.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't actually doing.
It was Tucker
AI.
Carlson. My bad.
Yeah,
I should have said that.
He was just chatting with Ben Shapiro on that. But that's the thing. Is like you can prompt it to do whatever you want, and it's a large language model, so it will formulate based on all of the information that's been given. It'll formulate the answers for you. That's not intelligence. No. Right? And here's a funny thing. You can prompt Ben Shapiro and Alex Jones to go off, but that doesn't mean they're intelligent. You can prompt even people with critical thinking abilities to go off on things that are opinions, but opinions aren't actual intelligence. Facts are intelligence. Gathering the factual information, being objective, being critical, right? So going back to the ethical standpoint, the other issue that's going to come with this is if everybody starts using AI, and let me give the caveat right now. Yes, replacing the people who are running your phones and your help centers on your websites with AI is a good starting point. You will still need people.
Yeah.
You will need upkeep on the AI. You will need someone for when the AI goes wrong. And if you're going to have less people in those departments, the people who are doing that, which is a fucking thankless job, and like it's viewed as a lesser job, but you actually have to like be active and work with people when they're in states of emotion, like manage some of like the worst experiences people have had with a company, you need to pay them more. 100%. Like if you're kicking out the rest of those employees and those departments are going down in size, and those that means that work is more critical for your company, those people need to be paid more because you're not paying the AI. But eventually what's going to happen is and here's what you've opened up my critical thing, because I look at this and I go, okay, cool. What's the pattern of capitalism? Where are we currently at? We're in a state
late
of
stage.
Well, not only that, we're in a state of digital feudalism, right? Amazon rents out market space and charges the person who's selling and the person who's buying as if they were lower class citizens existing on land. And Amazon is saying, we own this land. And if you go back far enough, that land is actually public fucking property. And part of the reason why it's super important to pay attention to why the internet shouldn't be overly privatized is this exact problem. Jeff Bezos is going to be the richest fucking person in the galaxy for the next 5,000 years because we all know he's going to put his brain in a fucking jar. But like, right, I'm being a little cartoonish, but the reason that's happening is he's charging us as if we were serfs in a feudal state. He's like, I have this land. I am the Duke. And what happens is when anybody tries to compete, he buys that the fuck out.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you get bought out or you get squashed. You get killed in the algorithm. There are multiple accounts of people having their business completely negatively affected because they didn't sell at the recommended rate that Amazon said they should sell at because they have their own profit margins that they need to meet. And Amazon's like, no, you exist in our market space. And it's like, well, I thought I was using the internet. And they're like, no, this is ours. And you are using our space. And if you aren't going to do exactly as we say, then we're not sending as many people to your site as we possibly can. We're not sending as many people to your page as we can. And that fucking is stupid, right? So the same thing with AI. What's going to end up happening is these AI companies are going to start doing the same thing that every company is doing that they've realized they can do to maximize profit. They're going to go fucking subscription based. And so now all of a sudden you have companies and people paying subscriptions for the AI usage for their departments, for their art, for their media, for all of this stuff. So they're paying a subscription base. AI companies end up making way more money than they fucking need off of this stupid subscription based thing, even though they might not even have to do that much upkeep on the service. And they don't have to prove a fucking thing because this is the age of digital feudal. It's called techno-feudalism. There's actually a really great book that just came out on it. I don't know the guy right now, but I definitely, if anybody's interested, email us, send us the message because I've been just getting into this because like paying attention to what's going to happen in the future is important. But so techno-feudalism exists. AI is going to start charging rent for you to use it. But, and here's the other real big detriment that I haven't heard anybody talk about yet, but I'd like to use this term, creative homogenization, right? Have you ever heard this term?
Mm-hmm.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never heard creative homogenization anywhere.
Yeah, I heard it just now from you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. But this is, and that's the only thing I could call it is creative homogenization. If you are critically thinking about this and you're looking at what happens whenever everybody goes on the same thing. We were talking about this just the other week when you were talking about your YouTube channel because someone goes, hey, are you prompting people to go to your next video in your own video? Are you doing in-video ads on top of the ads that are happening? That is digital creative homogenization. Everyone has to run the same model, right? And if you're not running the same model, it becomes unfamiliar to people and you're going to make less money. And tech bros and business bros are going to go, well, that's just how capitalism works. And it's like, no, it's not. You fucktard. Sorry.
No, I love that word. I love that word.
But that's what you've slave to the idea of the dollar. Fuck you.
Yep.
Like you've got this
fucking
is the swearing
insane.
episode. But that's, and so the creative homogenization, to develop that out a little further, what happens is if everybody is using the large language models, because they're not artificially intelligent, because they don't have critical thinking skills, if everybody's using the same large language models, that means that all of the things being produced will start to funnel into the same space. Have you realized how, like, the cadence of social media and the building of pages, like, it goes through trends. Like, we call them trends. We call them viral sensations, right? We have all of these negative terms that exist around this, right? Binging, virality, like all of these things that exist. It's a completely unhealthy process. It's nothing but a detriment to what I would call, if we're going to reference, I think it's Aldous Huxley, like if we're going to reference the soul of mankind, the purpose of art is to save the soul of mankind. And if we're going to degrade that, well, we're fucked. Like, and it starts with the creative realm because that's the easiest realm to go after. Because people who are doing creative things aren't making as much money already. Like it's almost like like what's the first departments to get scrapped in a school right now? It's physical education and art and music, right? Like, so the arts and physical education are the first things to be scrapped, right? Meanwhile, like, extra funding goes into STEM and stuff like that, not realizing that, like, creativity in itself is its own virtue and form of thought. Like, it's something that drives us and brings value to our day-to-day existence. And if we're going to digitally, and so the term homogenize, right? Like when you homogenize milk, you're just processing it all so that it all comes out the same, because there's variability in stuff like that. So when you homogenize something, you get rid of the variability. And when we get rid of the variability, we're losing the depth and soul and like the things that actually draw us to that and make us passionate and make life worth living, really. And I don't think that I'm overstating it when I talk about artists, because I'd rather commission someone. Like, you can go to fucking, here's a perfect example. Because I'm sure AI art is already invading this realm. But like, you can go to Etsy and you can find an artist. You can commission them to do something that's unique and original, right? For a certain amount of money. You could probably pay a little bit less, and someone's going to give you the AI image of it, right? Mm-hmm. And people are already using this on like their Instagram meme accounts. I'm sure that like one of the ones that I like Bushido Tensai, right? Or Tenkai, which is like, it's quoting like ancient Eastern philosophers, but I know it's using AI art.
Well, okay, but, so you bring up a good point.
And so on that, I'm like, I don't know. Where's my gray area? Where do I ethically fall on this? I'm like, I don't think I'm giving this guy money by like saying, oh, I like that image in that quote. You know, like that to me is just a meme. Memes happen regardless. But like when it comes to companies generating art, scrapping entire marketing and video and art departments, or at least downsizing them in order to make products faster, make more money, and increase shareholder value, a completely other topic, right? To maximize shareholder value, what we've done is we've sacrificed the human element of an important infrastructure and function within our daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, full-time lives in order to make more profit, just for $1.
Yeah, and the last thing that I wanted to say, are you got all your thoughts out?
I'm not done, but I'll be done.
Okay. That has been 10-minute rants with Kevin. A recurring segment on this.
We need to do a separate episodes called Topics and Tangents.
Yeah,
and it has to be one of us bringing a thing that we could just just go off on. Yeah, we have to do Topics and Tangents.
But you mentioned the business thing, and the last thing that I want to mention and why I think this is so prevalent is there are some areas where AI art has been used in for projects that had the money to pay a regular artist. And I don't want to go into depth on all these, but I just want to name some so you're aware. Okay. Marvel used AI art for the intro of their TV show Secret Wars. Good thing Secret Invasion, sorry. Good thing nobody really saw that, but the whole opening credits is all AI art. There's a movie.
It did look stupid.
I mean, I didn't see the show, but the intro looked really bad. I'm not surprised people immediately realized that. There is a movie coming out, or no, it's out now. I believe I'm going to go see it tomorrow. It's called The Late Night with the Devil. It looks really good. It's set in the 70s. It's about a late night show.
They just got in trouble. They used AI art in that.
I'm curious. I watched the trailer again and tried to see if I could figure out where it's at. And all I know is something to do with the skeleton. So if I go see the movie, I'll make sure to update you. But a big one, and the one that I really think is sad. Honestly, this next one is just straight up sad. There's a company called Wacom, and they make tablets for artists.
Waycom.
I believe so. Okay. I know Goose used to use one of their tablets.
Wacom. Okay.
I think that's how you say it. I might be incorrect, but if you're an artist, you probably know what I'm talking about. But it's literally a tablet that helps people do animation, drawing. You know, it is for creatives in the the art sphere, and they used AI art to promote their tablet. A tablet for artists used AI art. And you know what else used AI art?
What?
Probably the script for Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire.
Well, not AI art, but a large
ChatGPT, baby.
They used a large language model to generate a script. But we know with second screen viewing, more and more people are going to get away with this, right? And so let me tie everything together in a nice little bow.
Go for it.
Let me tie everything together in a nice little bow before we move into this large language model developed script. It all comes back to, there's an apt way to say this, and I'm not referencing the show, that little black mirror that we all rely so much on, right? Mm-hmm. And one final little point that I want to make: the homogenization behaviors, the typification and the funneling of entire behaviors, and leaning on these things for art, for media. Like, just look what it's done to people's navigation skills and general spatial awareness. I could tell somebody directions using street names to get somewhere. I like, and I'm not like, I can't always do that, and I might have to look at a map. What am I going to do? I'm going to bring up Apple Maps, right? But I'm going to look at the map and give somebody the directions. But what happens now is people rely so much on just plugging the thing in and having GPS tell them where to go, that there are people that, and this is happening more and more, that part of their brain is stopping development or degrading over time because they're not developing it. So instead of actually learning how to navigate your own physical real world living space, you're creating a crutch in this little thing that you pay $100 a month for, and it's actually ruining certain thought processes that you go through. And there are people who can't get somewhere without GPS now. And they're like, they make a joke about it, and they're almost like proud of it, right? They're almost like, oh, I can't go anywhere without fucking GPS. If you told me a street name, I wouldn't even know. It's like, don't be proud of that.
Don't brag.
Don't be proud
Don't brag about that.
That's not something to be proud of. You just said I'm less intelligent than my phone. You just said I'm less intelligent than the thing that I pay rent to. Yeah. And you're proud of that?
Yeah.
No. Like, one of my favorite moments that I've had in the past few months was I was able to start navigating to and from Salem, like a city or a small town that nobody ever goes to because thankfully there's a beautiful theater there. And, well, no, not witches. Not Salem, Massachusetts.
I know.
I'm sure there were witch trials all over. But, like, no, but I was able to get to and from there because I memorized the route.
Yeah.
I don't have to punch it in a GPS. I know that I get on 197. I know I end up on 40. I know I go through Casa Una. These places that if I said to people who rely on GPS, they'd be like, what is that?
I don't ever use GPS.
And I'm like, you're missing an entire experience here. Like, anyway. Okay, so GodzillaKong.
Yes.
AI script.
All right, listen. It's not AI script. Okay, it's probably not. That was more of a segue. Okay. This is a fun movie. All right, now.
Good.
And I want to say this.
A giant monkey gets a giant power fist. How can it not be fun? Are we doing spoilers right away, or are you gonna...
Listen, if you've seen a trailer for this movie, you've seen the movie. Like,
giant monster fight spoilers here. Spoilers. Okay, go.
If you were a fan of any of the previous movies in this universe, especially the last one, you're gonna like this. The plot is essentially, there's actually a whole society of evil King Kongs that live in Hollow Earth. But not only do they live in Hollow Earth, they live in the Hollow Earth part of Hollow Earth called the subterranean level, because why not?
Oh my god.
You know? And
wait, so Hollow Earth has a second Hollow Earth.
Basically.
Okay.
And
got it.
Kong lives in Hollow Earth.
This is a great starting point.
So the last movie, King Kong versus Godzilla.
We're gonna have to go into the Earth more.
Pretty much.
More.
I mean, so set up the scene real quick. We have the
Come on, this is funny. Wait, but Hollow Earth was like the landmass extends inside the Earth around. So aren't they just going back into the core?
They're just going deeper into the Earth, I guess.
No, because you're going back out the other way. Because remember, it stretches out as an orb on the inside. They don't fall into Hollow Earth. It all is on the inside, upside down, right?
Well.
So, like, they're just going back up.
Why are you asking me? I don't know.
I'm just, because you brought this up, and then literally, I'm like, wait, there's not an orb of Earth inside of Hollow Earth.
I don't know. King Kong was standing on...
They're just digging back up toward the crust.
No, literally,
now.
King Kong was standing on something, and then he fell, and he lands in and then, like, this title comes...
But remember, on the last movie, they're like, we're going into the Earth, and then the Hollow Earth stretches on the inside of Earth, and it's concave, not convex, and the Earth side is the convex side. So they're just going back toward Earth again.
Kevin, you're putting
what?
You're putting too much thought into this, my friend. Literally, this is what happens. King Kong is standing on a platform thing. He falls, and then he walks to a waterfall, and then text comes up on screen, and it says undocumented subterranean level. That's all I know.
It's not subterranean. It's toward the Terranean.
So anyway,
you're going back toward the Terranean.
The last movie ends with King Kong taking...
And if it's in between two terrains, it's technically mid-Terranean. Get your pseudoscience right.
Dude, who cares? It's about King Kong and Godzilla fighting.
I care. Somebody's going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars to be incorrect.
All right, well, I guess
Anyway,
this movie sucks,
go on.
everybody, so don't watch it.
I'm just. Am I wrong?
Yes, I don't know.
Am I wrong?
So the last movie ends.
Are there scientists in this movie?
Yeah, with 2 PhDs.
Do any of them go, aren't we just going back toward the crust now?
No, they said we're going to Hollow Earth.
Fuck it.
So, if you forgot
Just
how the
go.
last movie ends, King Kong goes
laying down.
Okay, lay down. Fast and Furious all over again. He's laying down, ladies, gents, and theys.
There are episodes where I just need to lay down.
It's okay. So the last movie, King Kong versus Godzilla, ended with King Kong taking over Hollow Earth as he's moved from Skull Island, and Godzilla
To Hollow Earth.
Yeah, and Godzilla is the protector of the surface level. He fights all the titans that pop up occasionally.
They each have terrain.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And as long as, and they said, I will admit, they actually put some effort in to make sense of why like King Kong and Godzilla aren't still mad at each other, and they basically are just like, hey, as long as like King Kong doesn't,
Because they're giant beasts.
well, so Godzilla will kill any threat basically to him, so he kills any monster that could challenge him. So as long as King Kong doesn't go up to the surface, he doesn't have to worry about Godzilla, basically, because Godzilla won't go to Hollow Earth. It doesn't matter. We have spent way too much time on the Hollow Earth side of this.
I won't kill anybody on the surface.
Yeah, basically. But
Okay.
the plot of this movie is, in the last movie, there was a little girl who was a part of a tribe from Skull Island, and she's believed to be like the last one of her tribe. Well, turns out
there's more.
Yeah, it turns out her entire tribe is they actually got transported to Hollow Earth, so they're just chilling. They're just chilling in Hollow Earth.
Okay.
And look, I don't really know. Like, the plot is really dumb. Like, I can summarize it really quick.
You just did.
Well, I'll summarize.
We thought this girl was the last.
Well, no, that's not.
Turns out there's more because we're doing a sequel.
It's not really the plot, though. The plot more is King Kong finds the ancient monkey civilization that's trapped in Hollow Earth that are evil. At the same time,
trapped between the two Terranian levels.
At the same time, Godzilla is on the surface powering up. He spends most of this movie off screen just like charging up like Goku in an episode of Dragon Ball Z. You know how like it'd be like a whole episode of him being like ah, and then it'd cut back and he'd be like
sounds dumb. Keep going.
And
this sounds dumb.
And then the human plot is
You're not selling me on this.
I'm not trying to. The human plot is they need
because there's always a human plot.
They need to resurrect Mothra. So King Kong and Godzilla.
Why?
So King Kong and Godzilla will be friends and fight the evil King Kong. And that's the whole plot of the movie. And
wait,
do you want to know
why Mothra to fight evil Kong?
Because Mothra is King Kong's wife. No, she's Godzilla's wife.
No.
Yeah, they're like lovers or something.
What?
Yeah, they're like friends or lovers or sisters or brothers or something. Yeah.
This is so dumb.
Mothra has always been Godzilla's ally in all of Godzilla lore.
But this is so dumb.
Yeah, well, it's a movie about a giant monkey with a fucking power gauntlet riding a giant lizard against an ice dragon and another evil monkey with a vertebrae whip with a sword at the end. Like, what do you
there's
want?
An ice dragon?
Yeah, there's an ice dragon.
Oh wow.
Look, if you like,
wait, does the ice dragon live in the core?
Yeah, the evil King Kong controls it with pain.
With pain?
With pain. Do you want to know how King Kong gets his gauntlet?
From Michael Bay.
It's my favorite part of the movie because it's so
Michael Bay shows up.
So
He's
funny.
Like, you might need this.
No, he fights.
These are the scraps of Bumblebee.
He fights.
Just put them on.
Oh my god. Yeah, honestly, if this crossed over with Transformers, that'd be kind of funny. Mainly because Transformers would get like ripped in half immediately. But
I don't know. Transformers have like missiles and shit.
Yeah, but so did the U.S. military when they fired them at King Kong and Godzilla, and it did nothing.
Yeah, but Transformers have like missiles from a fucking robot plane.
That's true.
I don't know, man. And based on the logic of this universe, I don't know. Anything goes here.
But basically, King Kong gets his gauntlet because...
Have you ever seen an animal interact with a vehicle? They might just lose their minds. Like, it might just be the Transformers like, quick, distract them.
Transformers are the size of a normal car, and Godzilla can step on cars. What do you mean?
That's what I mean, is like, they might just like lose their minds at these little things flying.
I don't think they would. I think they would just step on them like they do everything else.
Oh, yeah, true.
Anyways, he battles the ice dragon, and he gets frostbite And so that's why they give him the gauntlet to cure his frostbite.
Kong gets frostbite.
So they give him a gauntlet. But the funniest thing is, right?
So dumb.
One of the characters is a veterinarian for giant monsters, and
How?
I don't know.
How?
I don't know.
There's not even a market for that.
In Hollow Earth, there's tons of monsters, so I don't know.
Wait, he's a veterinarian for he's from Hollow Earth.
No. He works for Monarch, and he is a veterinarian that goes to Hollow Earth to study giant monsters and learn about them, so we can like research and study them.
He's a normal veterinarian to start.
I don't know. It's never said. You act like this movie's going to give you any kind of backstory on these characters. It goes, hey, here's a guy. We're going to introduce him. He's going to parachute down onto King Kong's mouth, rip out his tooth, replace it with a fake tooth, and then go into Hollow Earth and be a part of the plot. That's literally how he's introduced.
Scorsese was right.
Huh?
Scorsese was right.
Scorsese was right.
Cinema's just dead on this.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
cinema's dead. It's all going to be artificially generated by large language models that everyone's going to say are artificially intelligent, even though they're not. And it's just going to be these fucking movies until the end of time. You know what? I give up.
Well, anyways, when King Kong gets frostbite, he ends up like stumbling because he finds the Iwi tribe in Hollow Earth, and then he passes out. And the veterinarian's his name is Trapper.
Okay.
Whew. But he's like, you know what? I can fix this, because it just so happens that the one and only prototype for this gauntlet that we made for no reason at all to give to King Kong is also in Hollow Earth. So I'll just run and get that real quick and we'll be good. Isn't that great?
That's so dumb.
Isn't that great writing?
It's so dumb.
Isn't that great?
It reminds me of the Monarch show where like I was like, oh, this might actually be compelling and dynamic and interesting. And then it was just like every episode's like a fetch quest.
Dude.
Like every episode's like, we got to go get this thing, but there's people after us. Like that's every episode.
But there's
it's
a
like,
moment.
All right.
There's a moment in this movie though that makes it all worth it, and it's when we finally get to the third act and King Kong and Godzilla team up, and they're getting ready to fight the evil King Kong and evil Godzilla, because that's basically what it is, right? Like King Kong uses an axe, evil King Kong uses a whip, Godzilla shoots fire breath, or like, whatever breath, and this ice dragon shoots ice breath. So it's like, it's kind of a good matchup.
Okay.
But there's a moment where they're running at each other, and King Kong jumps and holds onto the side of Godzilla, and then Godzilla like flings him into the air, and he like flies at the evil King Kong. It is the most like Power Rangers, fucking superhero, Marvel, fucking slow motion flying at each other bullshit I have ever seen, and I love it.
So dumb.
It's so funny, dude. There was a moment. Okay, I gotta tell you this. Maybe this will be where I end it, because
Hold on. Let me pick my energy level up. Hold on. Okay. You said it was fun.
it is fun. And there's a moment that made me laugh out loud in the theater, to the point where the people next to me, because it was a pretty full theater, literally shot me a dirty look because of how loud I laughed out loud. And for reference, what I was laughing at was not meant to be funny.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. I have that moment in theaters all the time.
And I love it.
All right, go ahead.
So at the end of the big battle, basically the ice dragon breaks free of evil King Kong's like hold over them, and they freeze evil King Kong, and then King Kong just smashes him into a million pieces. Really great. And at the end of it, like, Godzilla and King Kong are like walking, and they literally give each other the most, like, you're not looking at the camera, so I can't mimic it, but they give each other the most, like, bro respect head nod after a fight that you've ever seen. And it is so, like, even Godzilla, like, kind of, like, smirks and, like, gives a head nod, and Kong kind of, like, winks and gives a head nod. And it was the funniest shit that I literally went out loud.
Way to anthropomorphize
like
this shit, like fucking just make them as human as possible.
It was so funny.
I get it.
It makes no sense. Wow. How do they know what that means? How do they understand
why is that in their? Why is that in both giant lizard and giant ape culture of respect? Why?
Yeah.
You know what, Odie? If you're gonna question that, let's dig into this Hollow Earth shit.
No, let's not. You already did. Oh, let's dig into this part of it, Kevin.
Hit me.
So, in order to resurrect Mothra, the prophecy says that
Oh, there's a prophecy.
Yeah, there's a prophecy, baby.
Oh, okay. I thought this was going to be about science with veterinarians and stuff. No. We're going to turn to tablature now.
No, it's visions.
Okay, go on.
The Iwi tribe communicate through telepathic communications of thoughts.
And prophecies.
Yeah, and prophecies. So the movie tells you very early on that on Skull Island, right, where King Kong is from, the Iwi tribe has been native. They're an ancient civilization that is native and has only lived on Skull Island. Okay, now keep that in mind because that's very important. Then you learn that there was a giant storm, and all the Iwis disappeared except for the little girl that has been in all the movies, right? So when they go down to Hollow Earth and they meet the Iwi tribe and they find these like really weird, there's like rainbow glass pyramids that control gravity or something. Yeah, I don't really get it. They really control gravity because they can lift like giant rocks, no problem, because gravity. Okay. And basically, but they find out that the prophecy says an Iwi girl from Skull Island will resurrect Mothra. Here's the thing about that, Kevin. Every single Iwi is from Skull Island. Yeah. So couldn't any of them just resurrected Mothra? Why did they need the one that was left? Like, what makes her special from the rest if they're all from Skull Island? It's so dumb.
This movie is
so
dumb. Man.
But it's great, man. It's great.
Do people even think before they write this shit anymore? Or they're just like, yeah, fuck it, you'll watch it.
I really think that's what they did. It made $10 million in opening previews on Thursday. This movie's gonna do well.
Is that good?
It's gonna do well.
What was its budget?
Let's find out.
All right.
I love how I'm looking at your feet.
I don't think 10 million's not amazing.
For an opening night on a movie like this, I would say so.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's find out. Budget.
This is why companies are leaning into franchises instead of doing anything new.
Okay,
because like
$135 million is the budget for this movie.
Okay, so if it's in theaters, an opening night is usually opening weekend's your biggest weekend, right? So looking at next week, right? If it's not, I would say if it's not over like the 130 mil threshold by like week 2, it's probably gonna break even. Maybe
it's on track
internationally.
I don't know if domestic it's on track to make 70 to 80 million, and I guarantee you,
yeah, it'll make its money.
This is gonna do well overseas for sure.
Yeah, internationally it'll be fine.
Yeah. So look, here's the thing. I know this is kind of all over the place. I am gonna be making it'll be out on my Magnum Opus YouTube channel tomorrow. A mini review that'll be a lot more cohesive in terms of what I liked, what I didn't like. Kind of boiling down the plot. But if you like Pacific Rim, if you like the old Godzilla movies, if you like the new Godzilla movies, if you just like going to a movie and laughing at how dumb the human characters are, and
kaiju,
and enjoying monsters fighting each other, because there's a lot of fighting scenes in this. Like King Kong fights a sea dragon, Godzilla fights a giant crab. Like
there's a sea dragon.
Yeah. If you like those kinds of things, though, I would say this movie is worth watching in theaters. I don't think it would be as good on a regular screen, because one thing that these movies always do really well is the roars and the sound and the explode. Like it all feels a lot better in the theater. One thing I will say that I noticed, and I feel like this is your usual nitpick, because you said it about one of my favorite movies from last year, The Creator. The scaling in this movie is all over the fucking place. It makes no sense. Sometimes
the scaling's all over the place in every Godzilla movie.
Right? Literally, sometimes it's like, okay, like they're fighting near the pyramids, and like Kong is as tall as the pyramids. But in the last movie, he was taller than skyscrapers that are taller than the pyramids. Like,
was he?
Yeah, like literally, there are times where Godzilla and Kong look like so incredibly tiny, and then all of a sudden there's all these other King Kongs and they're all the same size. It's just, the scaling is a mess, and it honestly just makes it even more funny. Like this is a dumb fun movie. This is not a so bad it's good movie. This is just dumb fun. This is just a dumb fun movie. It's pretty fun. It does what you want it to do. Pop 2 edibles before you see it, like I did, and you'll just be smiling, laughing, and giggling the entire. Maybe that's why I loved it so much. Because I had 2 edibles beforehand.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 100 giant apes, what do you give it?
Honestly, for just how dumb fun, and Brian Tyree Henry, who is an incredible actor, he is the best part of this movie. He's the only reason that the human scenes are bearable, because human scenes in any monster movie fucking suck. So because of his performance and Godzilla and King Kong giving each other a very noticeable and out of place head nod, I give this movie 89 giant monkeys.
Okay. That's not bad. I feel like it's one of those things when it's out on streaming, I'll watch it once and I'll be like, okay, I saw it.
I'll probably
you to. I might even put it on in the background while I'm doing work, you know. Okay. Before we get into your jam, I also have a movie to talk about. And it also is the fucking worst.
Oh.
And it's the movie Damsel with Mibbity Bibbity Bobby Brown.
Yeah, I know about this movie. It looked bad. It's
I
ready or not.
I watched it last. Well, it's not ready or not, right? They're twisting up the fairy tales, right? It's kind of Ready or Not, but Ready or Not is like a thriller. We're all hunting you down movie.
It's similar.
This movie is quite literally just her having this conflict with the dragon the entire time. So quick plot for I don't recommend watching this movie, so I'm not doing spoilers.
It's Netflix original.
This is not a spoiler warning. This is a warning.
When do spoiler warnings become just warnings? Round 2.
Right now.
Round 2, baby.
Yeah. The quick plot summary. Mibbity Bibbity Bobby Brown is living in first off, the first shot of this movie, she isn't even chopping wood correctly, and I lost my mind.
That's awesome.
I was like, why does no one exist on a movie set to make something believable? You know how you're supposed to chop wood, right? As you're swinging the axe, you bring your hands together to generate more speed, because the speed is what drives it all the way through, right? More force.
I thought you just did it like Captain America, and you just rip it in half real quick when you're mad.
There's that too, but Captain America's not in this film, Odie.
Okay, gotcha.
So
I wasn't sure. Maybe he showed up.
So you know how you, as a human, a normal human, not Captain America, bring your hands together so that you can generate more force. Yeah, she's just got her hands wide apart the entire time, just like hacking at this wood. But it's all splitting in half to show you that she's a capable person.
Of course.
And then they're going through this like entire valley of clear-cut trees to this like barren land. Like her dad's there, and he's like, "We have a proposal for you to be married." And she shows up, and they're like, "Hey, you're gonna marry the prince." And they're like, "Oh, isn't this fucking great? She's gonna marry the prince." But I don't know, that queen lady, Robin Wright, seems a little finicky, right? And then she shows up, and they're like, "We've cut the prince's hand, and we put it on top of your cut hand, and now you have royal blood in you.
AIDS.
And now we're gonna toss you down into a chasm, and the dragon's gonna think you're one of us, and it's gonna fucking burn you alive or eat you, because it's an evil dragon." And then sure enough, they're like, "The dragon showed up and decimated our kingdom, so we went out to slay it, and then like now it just wants to eat the royalty because we couldn't kill it, or whatever. We've struck a bargain, whatever, fuck it." So then of course it turns out that like it wasn't the dragon that came out after them, it was them that came after the dragon and killed its 3 babies, so now it needs 3 princesses every generation or whatever. I don't know, it's so dumb, but
sounds really dumb.
It's so dumb. And the dragon fire like will melt things and become lava that like flows after her, but like only at the speed that they needed to flow after her for like plot armor. The only saving grace I will give this movie is that Millie Bobby Brown gets like really, really fucked up a few times. Like gets actually stabbed, actually burnt, like shit's actually going down. And I was like, okay, I appreciate this. I appreciate the survival aspect of it. But, of course, there's a Deus Ex Machina. There's these weird little slug things that exist in the dragon's cave somewhere that will magically heal you.
Of course.
Right? So, like, of course, that just, the cure-all. It's basically, it should have been a video game.
Should have been an anime.
Not an anime. No, I don't want this to be an anime. It should have been a video game.
Yeah.
And,
that would be a fun video game.
Figured out
like a
that,
horror
that
one?
the slugs heal you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's these little messages like by some girl named V who apparently survived the longest of any of the princesses down there. And she's written on the wall like, "It's safe here. The dragon can't get you. And it's not safe over here." And like, I'm not gonna lie. I think I fell asleep for a good 15 minutes watching this thing, and then at the end of the movie, of course, Millie Bobby Brown, like she's like
Kills
is about
everyone.
to Mibbity Bibbity Bobby Boo is about to kill the dragon, and then she's like, no, instead I'll show it compassion and heal it with the slug things that it never knew existed.
Mhm.
And then the dragon's like, well, I guess we team up and go after the royals.
Does she ride
now.
it? Does she ride the dragon?
No.
Okay, good.
Because
Good.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. She should have. Let's be real. If we're gonna commit to all of this horrible shit, she should have, right? But also, I don't think that it was in the budget for her to ride a fucking
What was
dragon.
the budget of this movie? I'm gonna look.
I don't care. I don't care. It's a bad movie. Don't watch it. But here's my jam this week, and it is
70 million. Anyways,
all right,
what's your
cool,
jam?
whatever. It's Netflix. Netflix is just throwing money at
Netflix
shit.
doesn't
Like
give
they're
a
like,
shit.
like most of this probably went to pay Robin Wright and Mibbity Bibbity.
And to pay for the Red
be in
Notice
movie.
sequel.
I keep calling her Mibbity Bibbity because I was watching this with Stephanie last night, and she said it once, and I can't unthink it
I
now.
like that, though.
But the other thing about the movie is I couldn't, like, I like, it's one of those movies where the scene before something happens, you predict the thing that happens, right?
Oh, I love
like
those.
they're at the
I
they're
love
at
those.
like the chasm. And it's like, oh, the prince is gonna throw her.
I love those, dude.
Yeah,
those
it's
are my
so bad.
favorite moments.
The whole thing's bad. But
like
yeah,
in Monster Hunter, when you know that her character is about to get fake death.
Yes.
Anyways.
But there's another thing that came out on Netflix, and I started watching it last weekend, and I'm pretty far into it. I don't know how many episodes I am in, but The Gentleman is my jam this week.
So
The Gentlemen, not to be
Yes,
confused with
Guy
The
Ritchie.
Gentleman,
Guy
which is
Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a show.
Similar plot elements,
Mhm.
right? It basically, here's what it is. Netflix said, Guy Ritchie, can you do Guy Ritchie shit? And he said, not only can I do Guy Ritchie shit, I'm going to pull Guy Ritchie shit from all the Guy Ritchie shit
I
that's
love
ever
Guy
Guy
Ritchie.
Ritchie shitted, right? Which is great because there's elements of there's nods to like all the Guy Ritchie films, Lock, Stock, Snatch. Like there's all these little like Easter eggs that he's put in for fans of his work. And it was created by him, which I love. And it's got, what's his name? Bad guy from Breaking Bad. John.
I was looking up the cast right now, actually. Vinny Jones is in it.
Vinny Jones is amazing.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Thank you.
Wow.
Edit that out. Make me sound
Giancarlo
smarter
Esposito.
somehow in editing.
I couldn't remember the name.
Please
You
make me
couldn't
sound
say
smarter.
it. We're falling apart. Theo James is amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I love
Everybody in the
Theo.
everybody in the cast is amazing. And not only that, there's just enough of like the really poignant Guy Ritchie scenes where a character is explaining something to another character about something just in life or philosophy or whatever, and it's a metaphor for everything that's going on in the episode.
Of
But
course.
here's the selling point. And I will say mild spoilers, but it's not really spoilers. The main character's brother is a fuck up and never stops being a rich fuck up. And I love that he looks for moments like he's going to develop as a character, but he's an addict. So he keeps reverting back to this addict state and fucking everything up. And I love it. Like every time he has an idea, you're like, this is going to create the problem. And like, sure enough, it creates the problem. But it's still interesting to watch the problem happen. Because it's Guy Ritchie, and he's not just giving you all of it, and it's not just exposition, and there's a lot of like back and forth and tit for tat, and like people saying things that are one thing on the surface but really mean another, you know, and like it's just the whole thing's been fun, and it just starts out like it shows Theo James. He's like walking like a border patrol assignment for the British military out of the country. The butler shows up and he's like, your dad, who's this rich guy, he's descended from British aristocracy, he's going to pass away, you have to come home. And then he comes home and he's got an older brother who's the addict, and the older brother's like sitting there, is like, well, thanks for coming home. I know you were all about your military and being a good guy and all that stuff, but here I am and I'm going to inherit the estate. And then guess what happens? Theo James gets the estate.
What a
and then
surprise. Have you seen
and
the
then
movie?
Much like The Gentleman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Just make sure.
So in The Gentleman, you know, there's like the pot farms and Matthew McConaughey and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They took that infrastructure part and they took some of the elements, and they've nodded to, like I said, they've nodded to other things. But they took that and then kind of centralized a lot of the conflicts that are occurring in the episodes around that business, right? So it's business-centered conflict using elements from The Gentleman, but it's called The Gentlemen. And there's many gentlemen, and one of them is Susie Glass. And I forget who plays her right now, but she's amazing. Phenomenal actress. She is like, anytime she's in the scene, I'm like, she could end up just winning. Like whatever this is, like she could just kill everybody in this scene and it would still be plausible.
Yeah.
Like, and believable. Like she could just murder everyone in this room right now and I would still be rooting for her. Like she's great. Criminal mastermind, like really smart. Her dad's in like jail, but jail is like being at home with a wrist,
of course, because they're rich,
like an anklet on, which actually is a really great cover for if you want to keep committing crimes, right?
Yeah.
So like crimes keep getting committed. But the whole thing's great. Giancarlo Esposito, he's very much channeling his character from Breaking Bad. He's just as devious. He's just as soft.
He's a great villain.
He's got a henchman. Yeah, it's
I love him.
It's so good. And like in proper Guy Ritchie fashion, there's multiple moments in every episode that will make you laugh. Like laugh fucking hard. And there's gypsies in it, like in Snatch. There's people trying to pawn things, like in Snatch. There's a nod to Colin Farrell's character, the coach from The Gentleman.
Yeah.
And it's a little Easter egg. It's just that this guy, he's a boxer and he's got tartan themed boxing gloves on instead of a tracksuit, right? Like just really cool little things that have just like kept me happy in watching it because I love Guy Ritchie anyway.
Yeah,
like,
Guy Ritchie's awesome.
If you put like Snatches, I would say Snatch is probably Snatch is like top 5 if not top 3 movie for me. So that's my jam.
Snatch, the Sherlock Holmes movies. I like Wrath of Man with Jason Statham. The Gentleman.
Sherlock Holmes movies.
I mean,
there are second act slumps in each of those movies, but whatever.
The Aladdin movie, which is the best Disney live action in my opinion. Like
it actually is.
I like that one a lot. Love Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie's good. The only thing he fucked up on was the King Arthur movie.
I was just about to say King Arthur's like the only one I can't get behind.
It's the only one that's bad. And but it introduced him to Charlie Hunnam, who ends up playing one of the more interesting characters in his movie, The Gentleman. Yep. And he's got the movie coming out, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare or whatever, right?
That is my most anticipated movie of the year.
Same.
I'm not gonna lie.
Henry Cavill just being a
Reacher?
downright like, huh?
And Reacher's in it. That's why I'm excited.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's just like they're just to quote one of our favorite podcasts, The Weekly Planet. They're in their grubby era, right? They're just being downright grubby.
Speaking of grub era,
I just love it.
My jam. I didn't mention it last weekend. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire.
Oh, is your jam?
I'm gonna keep this very short and sweet.
You like it?
Yeah, I love Ghostbusters, except for the 2016.
J'approve.
If you like the first Ghostbusters, I don't know a lot of people that actually like the second Ghostbusters. It's not very good. But if you like the first Ghostbusters, if you enjoyed Afterlife, if you like Paul Rudd, if you like a bunch of the original Ghostbusters being fucking 100 years old, trying to fight ghosts, it's pretty good. It's not great. But it's a new villain. It's not tied back to any of the old stuff like the last 3 movies have been. It's fun. It's interesting. It does something new. There's funny lines in it. There's emotional beats in it. If you like Ghostbusters, you should see Ghostbusters. And that's what that's short and sweet, honestly.
Ghostbusters: Frozen Kingdom, right?
Ghostbusters New York. New York is so cold. So cold. Why is it so cold?
You watched a movie with an ice dragon and a movie with an ice king.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's your whole theme.
Yeah.
You're doing a cold snap week for spring, obviously.
What's next week? Anything else? No.
What's the next ice thing that you can get into, Odie?
The Vanilla Ice documentary.
Oh, great. Yeah, do that. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, enjoy these movies now.
Yeah.
Eventually, everything's going to be written by AI. Entire marketing and creative departments are going to be replaced, and you're just going to be spoon-fed subscription-based content
for the rest of your life,
based on your algorithmic preference, because the algorithms are new god. This is where we're going. No, I don't want to end this on a downer. Let's end this on a nice, happy note. Here's an unintended consequence of what I think will happen when creative homogenization becomes a thing. I think that what is going to happen is people who are dedicated to a craft, who are dedicated to mastery and creating something real that has soul to it, the people who are able to succeed in that realm are going to succeed even more, because the value of full, proper creativity is going to be so high when everyone else is using the streamlined product, right? It's like anybody can go out and buy a pair of like white slip-on shoes from Target, but only a few people in like I know a few people who do this, but like not everybody can then take art pens, like painting pens, and draw all over them and make them unique pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that, in my mind, that is the positive side of where we're headed, is like, yeah, everybody's going to be able to make like piece of shit AI art that like some people will love, some people hate, whatever, who cares, right? But like, not everybody's going to be able to still create beautiful, soulful, amazing art. And it's only going to make artists like Noah Kahn. It's only going to make artists like Jamie Coalella. I could go on just naming visual and music artists who really pour their heart and soul into things and don't overproduce and don't lean into AI. It's only going to make those people that much more valuable and that much more amazing.
Yeah.
That's a really nice... That's a nice moment. Right?
I think we should. I think that's a great moment to end it on. But also, what if I told you there's a moment where Kong punches the evil Kong so hard he spits out a tooth and it lands in the street and people freak out?
I'm gonna lay down again. I'm laying down. Laying down for the end of this podcast. All right, roll the theme. Roll the outro music, Odie.
Okay.
You got outro music.
Here we go.
Week?
3, 2, 1.
Perfect.